this lesson, we will be talking about deductions from income. So a deduction is basically an amount of money that's taken off of your income for different purposes. So you'll see in your notes, there's two little tables here. The top one are the standard government deductions. These are things like income tax, which is money that goes to the government in order to provide services. Employment insurance, which is a source of income, basically provides income to people who may lose their jobs. And then the Canada Pension Plan, which is a government fund that provides money to workers when they retire. So those are standard government deductions. There's also other deductions that different companies may have. These might include a pension plan within the company. It could include a health plan. So a health plan is something that helps you cover medical expenses like dentist, eyeglasses, that kind of thing. There's also can be deductions for life insurance, disability insurance. If you're unionized, you may have to pay union dues. Can also be charitable donations, payroll savings. Some companies will deduct for things like parking fees, things like that. So what this means is that when you calculate your income in the way that we've calculated income in all the previous lessons, that is called your gross pay. So gross pay, is the amount of money that you earn before you take off any of your deductions. But your net pay is what actually would get deposited into your bank account or given to you in a check. So your net pay is how much money you actually earn after all of your deductions have been taken off. So in order to calculate this, basically what you need to be able to do is first calculate your gross pay and then subtract any deductions. So if we look at example 1, it says Todd earns a weekly salary of $635 as a computer technician. The deductions from his gross income are shown below. So these are his deductions. What is his net income? So we're going to take his gross income, $635, and we're going to subtract all of these deductions. So what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to split this up differently, is first let's figure out the total of all of his deductions. So we will add them up. You could also just subtract all of them from 635, but let's just add these up. So he pays $8.70 in EI, that's employment insurance, $31.43 into the Canada Pension Plan, $95.25 in employment insurance, $19.55 into his company pension, and $15.75 into disability insurance. And when I add all those up, it's a total of $170.68 in deductions. So to calculate his net pay, I am going to take his gross pay, $635, and subtract the deductions. That will tell me how much money he will earn in his net pay. The total when you do that is $464.32. That is his net pay. Now, sometimes your deductions will be stated as a percentage. So in example 2, it says the federal tax rate is 15%. How much is deducted from your $750 paycheck? So for this, you need to remember how to calculate the percent of a number. So if you recall, this percent, similar to when we were calculating commission, is you first want to change 15% into a decimal. So 15 divided by 100 is 0.15. Now this is only asking you how much is deducted from your paycheck, so you just need to find 15% of $750. So $750, so your deductions will be 750 times 15%. So your deductions in this case are $112.50. Now, that percentage was already given to you as a total, but in example 3, you'll see that the deductions, those deduction rates, are given as 3 separate percentages. So in that case, we're going to have to find the total deductions first and then subtract them. So Shannon is the manager of a sporting goods store earning $770 weekly. Calculate her total deductions. So here, the total percentage that's deducted is 5% plus 7% plus 15%. So a total of 27%. That's the total percent that's deducted. So when I want to calculate these deductions, I'm going to take her income, $770, and multiply it by 27%. Remember, as a decimal, this would be 0.27. So that means her total deductions when you calculate that are $207.90. Remember, in both of these questions, it's asking you to calculate the deductions. So this is the amount, or these are the amounts that would be deducted from these people's paychecks. Okay, it hasn't asked you to calculate the net pay. If you wanted to find the net pay, you would take this 750 and subtract the deductions, or 770 and subtract the deductions. But it has only asked you to calculate how much is being deducted. If we look at the next page, we're going to put more of these together, more of these calculations together. So, in this question, it says, as a part-time college instructor, Kathy teaches an introductory course on Mexican history. She has a bi-weekly gross income of $3,654.75. Her deductions include short-term disability premium of 0.5%, union dues of 3.1%, and a pension of 4%. She pays a federal tax rate of 18.5%, provincial tax of 6.2%, CPP of 4.95%, and EI of 2.2%. What is her net income? You may be thinking, that is a high percentage. It's a lot of percentages to pay in deductions. This is actually quite normal, and you will learn that when you start earning money. So the first thing that you would want to do if we're calculating her net income is we need to know the total of her deductions. And to calculate the deductions, we need to add up the total percent that's being deducted. So I am going to add all of these percentages together. So we have 0.5 plus 3.1 plus 4% plus 18.5 plus 6.2 plus 4.95 plus 2.2. And when you add all of those up, the total is 39.45%. That's how much is being deducted from her pay. And if you want to change that into a decimal, divide it by 100, 0.3945. Now that we know the rate that's being deducted, we can calculate the actual amount. So what is 39.45% of her income? So $3,654.75 times 0.3945. And that gives a total for her deductions of $1,441.80. That's how much is going to be deducted or subtracted from her pay. So to figure out her net pay, I'm going to do that actual subtraction. So $3,654.75 minus $1,441.80 leaves her with a total pay of $2,212.95. That's how much she will earn after those deductions have been subtracted. And finally, if we look at example 5, Gary works at a bus manufacturing plant. He is paid $13.70 per hour with time and a half paid on all hours worked over 40 per week. Last week he worked 43 hours. His deductions are shown below in this little box. Calculate his net pay. So in this question, we have to calculate his overtime. We also need to calculate his deductions, and then we need to calculate his net pay. So let's start by calculating his total pay, including overtime. So he works 43 hours. 40 hours of those are regular pay, and 3 hours are overtime. So his regular pay is 40 hours times his hourly wage, $13.70. So that's a total pay of $548. This is regular pay. His overtime pay, we determined, was 3 hours times his hourly wage times his overtime rate. Sorry for that interruption. So his overtime rate was 3 hours times his hourly wage times his overtime rate, which is time and a half, 1.5. When we multiply those, we get a total in overtime of $61.65. So that's how much he earns in overtime. So for his total income, we're going to add those together. 548 plus 61.65. So his total pay, including overtime, is $609.65. That's his total pay. But he also has deductions. So in order to calculate the deductions, we need to subtract all of these from here. What I'm going to do is first find the total of the deductions and then subtract them all together. So his deductions are $2.90 for union fees, $3.50 for parking, $10.55 for EI, $31.43 for CPP, and $82.45 for income tax. When you add all of those together, it's a total of $130.83. So the very last thing I need to do is take his total pay and subtract the deductions. So $609.65, take away $130.83, which leaves him with a total pay of $478.82. As I've mentioned before, screen a little bit. As I've mentioned before, it is very important to keep your work nice and organized when you're doing these calculations, especially when there's multiple steps.